G'day mate, 40 here. So YouTube has a great new function. I can go live and simultaneously invite guests, like even here on my cell phone. So that's awesome. Right, so I'm looking forward to doing that in the future. I know there are a lot of other platforms that have that function, but I don't have to be in OBS now to invite guests. So I've been reading a ton on the Fox News firing of Tucker Carlson. Here are some of the things that jumped out at me. So it was Tucker's January 6th documentary that was so over the top that was important in the Murdoch's decision to part ways with Tucker. So Rupert was about to get married again to his fifth wife, and she believed that Tucker was a messenger from God. And Rupert said, no, he's not. Now, remember, Tucker got access to thousands of hours of previously unseen footage, and Tucker just showed a little bit of it, and then he stopped showing it. So why did Tucker stop showing the previously unseen footage that came into the possession of the House Republicans? Why did he stop showing that footage? Was he told to shut it down? So did Fox tell him to shut it down? Now, if Tucker hadn't misrepresented the footage that he had, like, you know, if he hadn't released that crazy documentary saying that the January 6th riots were, you know, not what they were seeing, but, you know, there's some kind of deep state plans and intervention. Like, he hadn't said such crazy stuff and given such crazy context to the footage, he could have released, you know, a lot more of that unseen footage, which I think most of us would want to see. So why did Tucker stop showing the previously unseen footage? I think that's important. It's very safe here in downtown LA. Just please ignore the sirens. It's very safe here. It's all under control. Another thing that jumped out to me about the articles on Tucker's firing is how unpopular he was with his peers. That cheering erupted at Fox when, particularly in the news division, when it was announced that Tucker had been fired. So Tucker had alienated himself from his peers, and so it's not a safe position to be outside the herd or even on the edges of the herd. You really want to live life, if you possibly can, inside the herd, and that may mean saying a lot of things you don't really believe in, or just going along with the herd in a lot of ways. So you can say and do all sorts of things, but stay independent in your mind, or give, you know, new meanings to what you're saying and doing. But you're in a much less safe position when you're outside the herd. Also, Tucker was working from home, essentially from Maine and from Florida. And so he wasn't coming into the office. I think he got out of touch with reality, like some people do when they choose remote work rather than in the office work. So he had less, you know, FaceTime with many of his colleagues at Fox. I suspect that may have played a role in him getting out of touch. Yeah, so I think he stopped thinking about what was in his employer's best interest. So when you stop thinking about what's in your employer's best interest, or, you know, what is it that your closest friends want, or your community wants, or your spouse wants, right? That's when you're going to have to start shopping for a new job, new spouse, new friends, when you don't retain a sense of the people most important to you and what they're all about. So yeah, I suspect that he developed an exaggerated sense of his own importance. So whoever Fox replaces him with will probably get at least 80% of Tucker's audience and may very well cause 10% of the problems. So if you can get someone who brings in 80% of Tucker's audience, causes 10% of the problems that Tucker caused, you know, brings back elite advertisers instead of the low-grade advertisers currently on Tucker's show, then that's a winning decision for Fox News. Another thing that Eric Wemple of the Washington Post noted, that, and other people have noted, that Tucker loves cruelty. And as someone who's been online a long time, you know, I identify with that. You know, there has been a streak of cruelty in my online ventures, and there have been times when I've, you know, resonated with being cruel, and it's usually a dysfunction. And Chuck Johnson made the point: hurt people hurt people. And it sounds cliche, but I think it's absolutely right. Hurt people hurt people. And Tucker, you know, He's talked about his rage at his mother, how much he loathes his mother, and that probably gives an avenue to understanding the alleged misanthropy that he has directed in the Abby Grossberger lawsuit, where his former female booker on the show alleged an atmosphere of, careless cruelty and discrimination against women, anti-Semitism, stuff like that. So hurt people, probably really enjoy hurting people. Articles talk about how he used to be in AA, and so people who are addicts and alcoholics, they tend to have a lot of resentment, and that tends to be what drives their addiction. So maybe Tucker fell out of recovery. Rage and resentment does seem to have driven his show, and some people can use rage and resentment in adaptive, useful ways, but tends to poison people. So Chuck Johnson wrote an essay that Tucker was very likely being used by foreign powers such as Russia, China. I don't buy that, but it's an interesting Substack to read, Chuck Johnson's analysis of this. He said that he told Roger Ailes to give Tucker a TV show because Roger Ailes of Fox News needed a wasp with his own show. So Chuck Johnson is incredibly connected. So he's very smart, incredibly connected. I'm highly skeptical of many of the things he says, but there is some gold in all the dross on his comments. So I don't believe that Tucker Carlson was, doing the work of foreign powers like Russia and China. Right? That doesn't ring true to me. But other parts of Chuck Johnson's analysis do ring true, and Chuck Johnson has been in places and has been connected to people that would give him insights that you and I don't have. Right? The guy is incredibly well connected, and no matter how wrong he may be about various things, he's the type of brilliant connected individual who can change the direction of a republic, of a genre, of a society, of history. It wouldn't surprise me if Chuck Johnson changes the whole direction of various things of which we have absolutely no idea right now. So another interesting angle on this is will Tucker Carlson run for president? Right? I think that would be immensely entertaining, and I think that Tucker Carlson has a substantial base in the Republican Party, and he may very well be, I don't know, if he decides to run, I'd put the odds at 5%, 10% that Tucker could win the Republican nomination and possibly win the presidency of the United States. So Donald Trump being scorned by Barack Obama, gave birth to Donald Trump running for president of the United States. So when Obama used a press gala to roast Donald Trump, right, Trump didn't enjoy it, and it fired him up and led him to run for presidency. So getting fired by Fox News may well fire up Tucker Carlson and free him to run for the presidency. Certainly not too late to jump into the field. Tucker Carlson's the only TV pundit who I find interesting. Right? No one else registers on my radar. And I'm not a fan of Tucker Carlson. I like Tucker, what I know about him personally, but I think his show was equal parts good stuff, bad stuff, and nothing stuff. But I'll be interested to see where he goes from here.